Okay, one of the most important things we can do to help students understand fractions is to really instill in them the need to establish a whole. And I'm going to talk about that now. You can see I've set up my kit here with all the blocks in this fold-out box. I'm going to just take a selection of blocks out of here, and you'll see why I'm doing this in a moment. But I'll just take those blocks out of there. And I also, as you can see, have some sentence frames. Now, I'm going to say that the first thing we want to do is establish a whole and literally put the piece next to a sentence that says this piece has a value of one whole. For those of you that are brand new teachers, you may never or may not have seen this strategy before, but it's called using sentence frames. For those of you that are experienced teachers, I'm sure you've used it many times. So when I say this piece has a value of one whole, that sentence is so important to me that I want my students to use it verbatim. I'm going to provide them with a scaffolding structure called a sentence frame, and I'm going to put that sentence frame in a folder that goes at the center. I'm also going to have large sentence frames in my classroom, and the purpose for this is so that I can point at it and say, I want you to say this. And then I want students to be able to point at it for themselves. I'm going to choose a variety of sentences that I want students to kind of like internalize because they're that important to meaning. So the first thing I want to do is establish a whole. I'll say this piece has a value of one whole. The second thing that I want students to say is this piece has a fractional value of 1/2 because two equal pieces are equivalent to one whole. So here's what I literally want students to do, to say, all right, if I take two of these pieces and lay them on top of one whole, you can see that they are equivalent. And so then we'll say this piece has a fractional of 1/2. That's 1 divided by 2 or 1/2 because two equal pieces make one whole. Not surprisingly, I have a sentence frame for that. This piece has a fractional value of blank because blank equal pieces are equivalent to one whole. You may also start students by saying, are a fair trade for. So for example, I'd say these two pieces, these two equal sized pieces are a fair trade for this. That means they have the same value. That's why I say have the same value as. So at the beginning, I would encourage you to say to students, oh, this piece has a fractional value of 1/2 because two equal pieces are a fair trade for the whole. Or this piece has a fractional value of 1/2 because two equal pieces have the same value as one whole. And eventually, I would like students to always be saying this piece has a fractional value of 1/2 because two pieces are equivalent to one whole. And you can see what I'm doing there is I'm stepping up their academic language from the more common phrasing to the more academic phrasing. That's what we do as ELD teachers. That's what we do as math teachers. Okay. So then I might say something like this piece has a fractional value of 1/3. And the reason is because three equal pieces are a fair trade for one whole. All right. That's how you establish a whole. That's a combination of using words and concrete objects. And I want the concrete objects to literally be put next to the words. When you do that, you're creating a stronger link in students' brains of the meaning of those words compared to the meaning of the objects. And that's what we want.